Lately, we are hearing so many rumors that Harry really is trying to come back to the UK, probably to London specifically. He's either wanting to get a place in Kensington Palace or he'll buy a place of his own. Reportedly, though, Meghan is having none of it, but that's not even the biggest problem. William is never going to let Harry get close again. According to The Sun's Matt Wilkinson, Prince Harry's plan to rent an apartment in Kensington Palace is never going to happen. And Meghan isn't really the one standing in the way, instead, it is Harry's brother Prince William who spends a lot of time there. The Express reports that Wilkinson appeared on Talk TV with host Kevin O'Sullivan asking him about the potential move. And Wilkinson said, "My belief is Meghan will never step foot in this country again. This story emulates from the suggestion that Harry has applied to rent an apartment in Kensington Palace. And speculation is that this will mean the gruesome twosome, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, will return to Britain. I'm not buying it," he says. Are you? Well, of course we're not buying this ridiculous story. And now I do believe that Harry wants to come back. Of course he does. He hates his life in California. Just look at him. Really, what could he possibly enjoy about living in California? I mean, he and Meghan have to hustle on a daily basis to try to get any publicity. They're also increasingly desperate for work because they're running out of money. Life in California, especially Montecito, is not cheap. And unlike when they were working royals, Meghan and Harry have to support themselves 100%. Wilkinson agrees with us that Harry probably does want to come back, but there's no way that Meghan will be willing to follow him. He said, "I can see it happening, but I agree with you. I cannot see in a million years Meghan spending much time over here again." Meghan hates the UK probably even more than Harry hates California. I mean, Meghan knows there is no way she would be welcomed back, and let's remember, she cannot handle criticism well. In spite of the fact that Meghan loves to viciously attack other people, she's very thin-skinned. There's no way that she would be able to deal with the criticism from the British public that she would receive if she were to return. In Wilkinson's opinion, Harry and Meghan are not really trying to move back to the UK full-time. Instead, he says that Harry just needs a place to lay his head when he's over for charity events or whatever. Now, I believe this is probably true, because I agree with Wilkinson, there is absolutely no way Meghan would agree to living full-time in the UK. Honestly, I agree that Meghan will probably never step foot in England again. But Harry is a different story because the UK is his home. It's all he ever knew. And even if he's on the outs right now with most of his family, I still think that he's hoping for reconciliation at some point in the future. Maybe not with his brother and his brother's family, but for sure with his father. Harry's also still involved with a few charities in the UK, so he'll need to make trips back occasionally. Wilkinson went on to say, "I believe the situation is Harry is homeless in the UK. The King's taken his property away. Their life is in California. I've been out there recently, and everything is focused on California. But what Harry needs is just somewhere to lay his head when he's over. And you're right, I cannot see Meghan Markle coming back. I don't think she feels welcome. I don't think she is welcome. The family won't make her welcome, and I don't think the public will either." Well, of course the public will not make Meghan feel welcome. Why would they? And of course the family won't make her feel welcome. After everything she has done, she could never be accepted back. You see, as a narcissist, Meghan is desperate for control of every situation, and she knows in the UK that's impossible. In the UK, Meghan would be absolutely powerless. She would have to apologize. She would really have to eat a slice of humble pie. She doesn't want to do that. In her mind, it's a lot easier to just never come back. Wilkinson also mentions that King Charles did in fact extend an invitation to Harry for Harry to come join him at Balmoral. But Harry said no. Quote, "He has to apply, okay? It's a really bizarre situation. His father is the king. They have all of these properties, have all these empty castles. He has to apply 30 days in advance to ask if he can stay in a royal property. Last time, the king said, 'You can come join me in Balmoral,' but he couldn't do it because of travel arrangements, and he ended up in a hotel." Honestly, I think Wilkinson feels more sympathy for Harry than I do in this situation. I don't feel sorry for Harry. I mean, yes, I understand his father is literally the king, but at the same time, they've got to arrange for him to stay. It takes time to make sure that the staff will be there, to make sure security will be there. He can't just come on a whim and expect everything to be there in place for his stay. Let's also remember, it is Harry himself who insists that he has to have top-notch security wherever he goes because his life is so in danger. He's so worried about what those evil paparazzi might do. And as somebody who grew up as a member of the royal family, Harry should know better than anybody that planning is necessary when it comes to arranging stuff like staff and security. Wilkinson agrees, saying he's obsessed with security. He has all these court cases running about security. So I believe it to be true that he would like to rent somewhere in Kensington Palace or maybe St. James's Palace because there's actually rooms there. The problem with Kensington Palace is William is often there. And that is a very big problem. At this point, William wants nothing to do with Harry. After the horrible things that Harry said about Catherine and also William in his book, I can completely understand why William cannot bring himself to have a conversation with Harry face to face. Maybe eventually, but it's going to take a long time for that pain to subside. What Harry did was certainly an act of betrayal, and honestly, I wouldn't blame William if he never forgives Harry. Wilkinson continues, saying he fell out with his brother when they lived next door to each other in Kensington Palace, but William's staff are there. William and Kate and the kids often pop around there, so it's going to be difficult. If he did have permission to rent a place, it would likely be on the condition that they would have to keep the brothers apart. William spends a lot of time at Windsor. And I think it's important to respect William in this whole issue. If William is not ready to see Harry, he shouldn't be forced to. Another thing is that I don't believe Harry can be trusted around his nephews and his niece. Both Harry and Meghan have said some really disturbing stuff about William and Catherine's children. If I were William and Catherine, I wouldn't want him anywhere near my kids. I mean, let's remember, Harry believes it is his job to educate the Spares and to prepare them for their future as Spares. What, so they can turn out like him? I think on some level, William probably does still hold some love for his brother, and I'm sure he wishes that he would make the changes necessary so that they could reconcile. But at the same time, William is very protective of both his wife and his kids, and there's no way he's going to let Harry close enough to hurt them, even if he is his brother. So anyway, Wilkinson concludes by saying it's just gotten to that ridiculous situation. You've made the guy homeless. He wants to come over. He doesn't have any big events. His life is in California. He may pop back for a couple charity events like he did earlier this year, but he just needs somewhere to lay his head, somewhere safe where he feels safe, that security guards can look after him because he is obsessed with safety. I can see it happening, but I agree with you, I cannot see in a million years Meghan spending much time over here again. I don't know, I agree with parts of what Wilkinson said, but other parts not so much. For example, I do not agree it's a ridiculous situation. This is a situation that is due to Meghan and Harry's behavior. Personally, I don't blame the royal family for telling Harry that he's got to book 30 days in advance. I think that's incredibly reasonable. Harry is in no way, shape, or form homeless. I mean, he's got plenty of money. He could easily rent a hotel room or an apartment for himself if he wanted to. He is not dependent on his father and the rest of the family. I know he would like to be because he doesn't really appreciate paying his own bills, but at the same time, he's a grown man. He needs to stand on his own 2 feet. And you, what do you think about Harry moving back to the UK with or without Meghan? Please let me know your thoughts on this issue below in the comments section. Before you go, don't forget to like and share this video with anybody else who would enjoy it. And also, if you didn't already, please hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss a thing from Kate Middleton and the Queen channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, have a lovely day, and I'll be back to see you in the next videos.